Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Dreaming About Travel podcast. This is our first edition from the Duncan Desmarais and Associates Dream Vacations. We've got myself, Carl Duncan, on the line, and sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and then we've got Charlotte Trodden, one of our travel advisors that's up in New Hampshire. And Charlotte, what's the weather like up there?
It is also beautiful, sunny, and super humid today. So we get freezing cold or really hot. Yay, New Hampshire.
It sounds like fun. So we wanted to kick this week off with our very first episode and go around the horn a little bit for the two of us with some news articles. And so I'll start first with mine, which is Princess Cruises is actually introducing an escape room. It's a digital escape room called the Phantom Bridge on their new Sky Princess. So this sounds kind of interesting. What do you think about escape rooms, Charlotte, on a cruise ship?
So I think that's a super idea. Like I have 3 boys, and this is a big thing that they do with their friends for fun. So I think the idea that they can do it with other kids that they meet on the ship or as a family is just going to add so much to the trip.
Yeah, and they say it's going to be like the games last about 23 minutes, so that's definitely a good amount of time to keep kids occupied for family travel. And
they're great. Have you done one of these yet?
I have actually done one here with some friends, and but it's one of those that was in like a strip mall and shopping mall. So they're kind of fun, but I'm curious to see how they'll do it on a cruise ship.
I think it's going to be super exciting. We felt like idiots when we did it. They are hard. They're hard.
It's funny. You think you're so, you know everything, or you think you're a pretty smart person, and then you go into one of these, and then you're like, what the heck happened? So.
Seriously, and then when we went to ours, they took our phones away from us because I wanted to Google how to get out.
You wanted to cheat, didn't you?
I really did want to cheat a little. Just a little.
Well, they're saying this is going to have like up to 700 different outcomes possible. So it's just amazing because obviously you'll never get bored because you can go and play it as multiple times, as many as you want. So.
Oh, yeah. I could see our family having a week-long competition with this. Parents versus kids, see who gets out quicker. That's fun news. We will definitely be trying that out.
Yeah, and that ship arrives in the fall, so you're going to be able just around the corner to actually be able to try that out. So.
Excellent. All right, we're in. Well, that's fun news. My news was that Disney World has officially announced 2 really fun things. The first is that we are only 1 month and a week away from Star Wars Land opening.
Wow. I know a few of my friends that are super, super gung-ho Star Wars fanatic fans, and they've been waiting for this. So do you have any details a little bit about it?
So everything there, as Disney does best, they're keeping some of the fun details really highly under wraps. But we do know that the Millennium Falcon ride is going to feel as if you are truly piloting the Millennium Falcon, to the point that if you accidentally crash it, there will be Star Wars characters as you leave the ride on the exit, telling you taunting you and telling you what a terrible pilot you are. And they even feel like they might have like some stormtroopers like pretend to take you away.
I was just going to say, the stormtroopers would probably lock me up if I crashed it.
A totally immersive experience. You're going to be able to eat at the cantina that you see with all the funny little aliens. And everything that we're seeing, just no detail has been left on behind. You're going to feel like you are on Tatooine. So
that's amazing.
Really, our family is so excited. Yeah, my husband is trying because we might be coming down to visit some relatives about a week after it opens, and he really wants to sneak in a day to go. Of course, as a good travel agent, we have to go.
That's true.
And I'm sure, so we could tell our clients.
I'm sure that a family would definitely enjoy this new addition to Disney. So it's awesome to hear.
Yeah, we're excited. And with that, Disney also announced free dining today through the end of December. So
wow.
people want to go, now it's it's going to be an awesome time to go. You get free food, go check out Star Wars. We're excited.
Cool.
So
And
that's our
when do they have
Disney
to book
news.
by for that dining thing?
So dining, the way the free dining works with Disney is every hotel only has a couple of rooms, a certain number of rooms allocated that they will allow to have free dining. So once those rooms are booked, they're gone, and you won't be able to get free dining at that location. So especially if you're looking for places like the Boardwalk or Beach Club where you can walk right to Hollywood Studios and Star Wars Land and get the free dining, it's been pretty popular. So I would call soon.
Gotcha. Great update. Thanks for that information. I know I'm excited about the new Star Wars stuff at Disney. So, so I know our topic today is really around family travel, and you and your family, which I know is a couple of kids. You know, we've got 3 kids. Did all 3 go with you on this trip, by the way?
We had 2 of them went with us. We had our 13-year-old, turning 14 that weekend. It was his birthday weekend. And our 16-year-old, both boys.
Perfect. And so your trip was to New Orleans, and this is a real popular destination here in the States. Everybody that hasn't been there really needs to take some time to go there. But a lot of people don't realize it's actually a really good family destination. And so I thought it'd be great if you could kind of talk about some of the highlights and things that you did there, and your recommendations for families that might want to go to New Orleans.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, a lot of people gave us funny looks when we told them we were bringing the boys along with us to New Orleans because, of course, everybody thinks of Bourbon Street and partying all night long.
It's Mardi Gras.
All year. There was so much to do for our family. We went for 4 nights. I would say that was the perfect amount of time. It really gave us a nice balance of being able to explore the city and have some downtime by our hotel pool, which we need on family vacations. We don't always like to just go. So some of our really big highlights that I would highly recommend to families, one was the Audubon Zoo, probably one of my most favorite zoos that I've visited in this country. It was beautiful. It was lined with palm trees. They had so many different types of animals and animal exhibits, and just the beauty of the area. It was right next to Tulane University, so that entire area was just a gorgeous area to walk around. So I would say that we got there when it opened around 10 a.m., and we were easily at the zoo until around 4.
Wow, that's a long.
And we still hadn't seen everything. So
that's one of the things I've actually been to New Orleans. I've been there numerous times, but I've never been to that zoo. So
yeah, I definitely recommend you go. Definitely recommend it. One thing that we learned a lot about while we were there was the transportation. So we made the choice to not rent a car in New Orleans. And this may not be for everybody, but our hotel had a shuttle. It was going to be a little bit expensive, and so we did a little bit of research and saw that we could hop on the bus for $1.50 a person, and it would bring us right from the airport right to downtown. We were like maybe 3 city blocks from our hotel, and our hotel was right off of Bourbon Street. So yeah, for $6, got our entire family from the airport to the hotel, and because we did not rent a car, we used city transportation, mostly the streetcars or walking to get everywhere we went. So
was it a streetcar named Desire?
Didn't see that one. The streetcar system was fantastic, though. That was $3 for a day per person, and it was unlimited. So we used that to get almost everywhere we were going. So
that probably gave you good viewing of St. Charles Street and the business district and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, that's what my husband Mark likes the best, is you got to just see sites that you would normally fly right past if you were in a car. So I highly recommend the streetcars. That was, the boys thought that was like an attraction in itself, because you could just kind of sit there, windows were open, take a little ride. I think that even what trumped the zoo was the World War II Museum.
Wow.
So the World War II Museum is considered to be the largest, it's the largest World War II museum we have in America. And it's considered to be second in the world. It was enormous. It's easily a 2-day museum. And this is coming, like, I can just tell listeners, that I am not a history buff. I am really not. I want to be. Some of my family is. I am not. So I was a little hesitant going to this museum. I was doing it for my husband and the boys because they love history and World War II. I was easily as fascinated as they were through the entire day.
Wow.
And it has a building dedicated to every campaign from the war. So it has a building for the Asian campaign. It has a building for Germany, building for America. It has an amazing 4D movie experience that was produced by Tom Hanks. That was super fun. And the cafe there was I was shocked. We ate at the cafe just because it was convenient. It was probably one of the best meals we've had in New Orleans. And we had a lot of good food.
It sounds like a great stop for anybody that's definitely a history buff and wants to learn about the wars.
Even not a history buff. It was truly something I think everybody should experience. And I would say that would be great for anybody age 7 and up.
Sounds great.
For sure.
Now, I know you had told us about a haunted tour, I think, that you took as well.
Yeah, so our first night there, we did the Jonathan Weiss ghost tour. So Jonathan Weiss, I highly recommend him. He's lived in New Orleans his entire life. He's got an amazing sense of history. He does a couple different tours. He does a ghost tour, which is the one that we took. He does a dark history of New Orleans tour. And he does a vampire and cemetery tour. So we went the first night we arrived for the ghost tour. We walked through parts of Jackson Square and areas in the French Quarter and learned so much about the history and the scary parts of the buildings that we normally would have walked right by. The boys swear they saw a ghost in one of the windows he was talking about and tried to show me in the pictures they took that it was real. I cannot verify that. They swear it's true. It was really cool. Halfway through the tour, we stopped at a bar that had been built as a blacksmith shop in 1774, and it's one of the oldest buildings still standing.
That was about the year that I was born.
Right about then, give or take a year. So that ghost tour was. I totally recommend doing a fun tour like that to kick off your vacation, because it gave you a great footprint of the city, a little bit of history, and was really just a fun way to kick the night off.
Sounds great.
I think another thing you really have to be careful of if you're going with families is where you pick your hotel. So as I mentioned, we chose not to have a car, so we stayed right inside the French Quarter, which made it really easy for walking to Jackson Square or the riverfront, or hopping onto public transportation. There are some places that are fairly far out in New Orleans that would have made it very difficult if we had chosen to see everything by foot. So I would say really trying to stay in the Jackson Square area or towards the riverfront would be your best bet if you're choosing not to rent a car while you're here.
Yeah, that's great advice, and especially if you're near the riverfront, you've also got the paddle wheeler there that you can go and take up the river too. So
yes, and that's really just fun to even watch it go up and down if you're not on it. And they have a great outlet mall right there that we found, so also a good location to be at. Yeah, no, New Orleans, great, highly recommend it for a fun family getaway.
Sounds fantastic. Thanks for that great insight and information about your experience there. I'm sure if anybody has questions, they'll definitely email or reach out to you on that. So thank you. I thought now we could talk a little bit about some fun Did You Know things. So what's your Did You Know for this week?
So my Did You Know, I learned from this trip, our local library, which we love to support, our local libraries, they have a lot of local passes that we can get either for free or at a discount with our library card. So, for example, we live in the New England area, and I can go and get library passes for the New England Aquarium, the Boston Museum of Science, the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, which was typically $25 to $30 a person to get in. When you multiply that by 5 people for my family, it adds up quick. My library pass, I can get those for about either free or $5 to $7 a person.
Wow,
so it's a great discount. It's a great savings.
Yeah,
I was at my
incredible.
library, and we were looking to get some fun because I try to keep the boys reading somewhat. So we were looking for some haunted New Orleans stories, and we could only get them on an interlibrary loan. And I was talking to the librarian about the fact that we're going to New Orleans, and she mentioned that with our interlibrary loan that most public libraries have, we could also get discount passes to some of the through our library to some of the locations that the New Orleans library had discount passes for, and that's throughout the country. So highly recommend to people. That was my Did You Know, because I did not know until I learned about that a few weeks ago, that check out your local library and see what kind of great passes you can get either locally to have a fun weekend or if you're traveling.
That's great. I mean, it's nice to know that our libraries are more than just us to read books at. You got great
more
offers.
than a book.
That's fantastic. So my Did You Know for this episode is actually something that, since we're talking about family travel as well, that most people may not be aware of is Celebrity Cruise Lines actually has on their ship something called Camp at Sea, which really is it's constant changing program. They update it. It's a fully customizable Camp at Sea program where they change the activities, and they have some partnerships with things like Xbox and Fat Brain Toys and Lonely Planet and stuff.
Cool.
And they focus on 4 main things, which is actually around art to help unleash the inner artist with the creation station. So if you got a kid that is interested in art, they can have some fun with that. They can even create a souvenir to take home. Then there's the recreational activities, which is for active youth, and it builds reflexes, builds skills, teaches them the importance of teamwork. And they also have some different challenge series to really engage the mind and the body and so forth. So,
what ages did you say that was for?
That's for anybody that's active youth. Different ages, it could be up 10, 12, 13, and so forth. But there's a lot of different skills that they do with building for that in that session.
That's great.
Yeah, and then
if the kids have to get pulled out of school for a few days for vacation, we could say they had a learning experience.
Exactly. You can have it as a learning experience. Take it back. They also have another section, which is for the young foodies, is the culinary plan as well, where they could actually build their own cupcakes, maybe make a pizza, get the behind-the-scenes look at the chefs in the cruise line actually at work and kind of understand the magic there. And then the last one, which ties exactly what you were just saying about schoolwork, is actually they have a STEM program too. So science, technology, engineering, and math, where you actually can do activities powered by experiments, demonstrations, and everyday science that really will amaze young minds.
That is so big right now. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's really super exciting. I didn't really know the detail of. I knew that they had this on Celebrity, but I didn't know the detail of it. And it's just incredible for families. So,
I think that's so great because I know that a lot of times people are just thinking about like Carnival or Disney, which I love, or Royal Caribbean for families, and they forget about some of these more upscale ships like Celebrity.
Yeah, everybody's catering to families nowadays, so there's usually something for everybody that you can find.
All right, I'm gonna have to go on a cruise and have my kids check that out for us.
Yeah. So, thank you, Charlotte, for all the great insights that you gave us today around family travel. And, for our listeners, we're hoping that you guys will tune in to our next episode, which we are going to be having a discussion around Amalia River Cruise that we took just recently, and giving some insights on that and some of our thoughts around the whole trip. Yeah, I mean,
and if our listeners
amazing.
have anything they want us to talk about, let us know. We'll
exactly. Yeah.
That.
Let us know in the comments, or you can email us. My email is kduncan@dreamvacations.com. And Charlotte, you want to give yours?
Yeah, I'm C Trodden, CTRODDYN @dreamvacations.com.
With a period in between the C and Trodden.
Yes, there is. Whoops.
So, and you can always give us a call, for any of your travel needs at 877-632-5301. Any one of our agents will be glad to help you plan your next dream vacation. So until next time, keep dreaming about travel.
Dream on.